Xcorps Sweet Rides is brought to you by
SoCal Paintworks, San Diego's #1 restoration shop. Rotoring F-body, make your F-body handle the way it should. Keesler Transmissions, shipping your classic into the future. Greg Scott Race Engines, filling your need for speed.
Scott Summers here, Xcorps Sweet Rides. We came down to SoCal Paintworks to check on the Bandit X project, and we got a little sidetracked because we ran into one of SoCal's customers, John Scalone. Now, John's got actually 6 cars here, and all these 3 of these cars you see right here are his. He's got a '69 Camaro, we got a '70 Cuda that's actually going to be a Hemi Cuda, and we've got a '55 Bel Air. And this is John right here. John, how you doing?
Very good, Scott. How are you today?
Not too bad. So you've been a longtime customer of SoCal Paintworks, haven't you?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. The way this all started is my youngest son, he had a Honda Civic that kind of needed a paint job. So I called around. He wanted to change the color on it. And I was recommended to come to SoCal. So I rolled in here driving this little Honda Civic and get out. And all the guys were looking at me like, what's this old guy driving this Honda Civic? Well, come to find out that when I talked to them about changing the color on the car, they said, hey, you know, it's going to be a real expensive thing. Let us just blend the paint that's here and, you know, we'll make it look good for you. So they saved me a ton of money. The car looked great. And, you know, I started looking around the shop at what they were doing. And I go, man, these are the guys I want to work on my cars. They just do a fantastic job.
So we got the '69 Camaro here. What made you pick this particular car?
Well, I graduated from high school in 1969. A good friend of mine had a '69 that we raced all the time. It's just one of those cars I always liked, and so when the opportunity presented itself, I said, I can't pass it up, gotta have it.
So it looks like you're doing some major modification to it. Describe to us what we got going on in the front here.
Sure. Basically what we've done, this car is, like I said, it's a '69 Camaro, but it's not the Camaro that was built in 1969, that's for sure. Has TCI front end suspension, both front and rear. Has body connectors. Basically set up almost like a NASCAR suspension. It'll handle really well. It's getting a 427 small block Chevy engine. It'll push about 550 horsepower.
Tell us a little bit about the Cuda we got here.
Sure, it's a '70 Cuda. I found this actually on eBay back in the Midwest. One of the guys here from SoCal flew out and checked it out, make sure it was, you know, worth saving. So we brought it in, and I'm actually building this car for a friend of mine down in Guatemala. So it's going to be, it's going to get a 426 Hemi, probably be an automatic since it's going to Guatemala. We're going to paint it the original color, which was a sublime green. We'll have basically a satin black hood and shaker. Have the hockey stick stripe down the side. It says Hemi on the side. It should come out to be a pretty nice car.
So we're down here at SoCal Paintworks talking with John Scalone, one of SoCal's customers, about some of the cars that he's got going on here. And we're looking at this beautiful '55 Bel Air. So John, tell us a little bit about this car here.
Sure, the '55, again, when I was in high school, myself and 3 of my friends, we had a '55 that we drag raced and was looking for one. And that's another funny story. One of the guys that works here, every time I roll in there and say, you know, man, I'd really like to find this car or that car. Well, within 2 or 3 days, he goes, hey, John, I found the car for you. So I think that's how I really wound up doing all these cars at once, because we were able to find this car actually here in San Diego. And the car was a one-owner car, was in beautiful shape. So and again, what we're trying to do is keep it a classic like it is. Just do some upgrades on it. We're going to upgrade the front suspension. The rear will be upgraded. Also, we went with a 427 small block, about 500 horsepower. It should be a really nice car when it's done.
So we're standing here looking at John's '55 Bel Air, checking out the engine. Got Dave Jacks with me from SoCal Paintworks, the shop manager here. Dave, tell us a little bit about what's going on in engine compartment stuff.
This is a Dart aluminum block, aluminum headed, 427 small block with roller cam, putting out 519 horsepower on the dyno.
So on the '55 here, what made you go with a 427 small block?
Well, what we wanted to keep the engine kind of traditional as far as the hot rod era back in the day. So I wanted to go with a small block instead of putting a large block, which would have been a lot heavier. This has a Dart little M in it, which is basically a racing engine. It's built by Greg Scott Racing Engines here, and he's located in El Cajon, California. Great guy. He's actually building the engines for all of my cars.
So, John, it looks like from all these cars, you actually build them to drive them, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. My idea behind the car is to build it for a specific purpose, but all the purposes are to drive the cars. The 55 that we put together here is a car you could hop in, use it as a daily driver. If you wanted, you could drive it across country. It'd be just like driving a new car.
So you're not a big fan of trailer queens?
Absolutely not. If you're going to build a car, you need to have it on the street or on the strip driving it.
So we're joined here with Nick, John's son. So Nick, what do you think about your dad building all these cars?
Oh, I think it's great because I get all the benefits of owning a bunch of cool cars, but without all the expense. So it kind of works out for me.
And you only drive one car at a time. So with 6 cars, I guess I need a bunch of people to help drive them.
So we're standing here with John Scalone down at SoCal Paintworks with his 55 Bel Air, the 70 Hemi Cuda, and his 69 Camaro. Now, John, when this Hemi Cuda's done, I want to be first in line to drive it.
Not a problem. You come on down, we'll put you in the driver's seat and take it for a spin.
I'm looking forward to that, John. We got more Xcorps Sweet Rides coming up, so stay tuned.